All right. Good Friday morning to everybody. The Iceman here on the Jeffrey Rose Iceman V2013 YouTube channel. And usually it's, for the most part, about wrestling. But today is September 11th, 2015, and it's been 14 years since we had the terrorist attack on the World Trade Centers in New York City, and as well as the attack in Washington, D.C. And this is a day that, you know, when it hits every year, it just brings back so many memories because I remember uh, when this occurred, I was at work and I was called into the office, and the secretary had told me about a plane crashing into the World Trade Center. And they had a TV there, a little TV, portable TV, and they were watching it. And then most of us gathered around and watched it as well. It was a tough day to finish your day of work, and we actually really didn't do much that day. I was working my position. I was working in a warehouse. I was a shipper receiver back then, and I only stayed there for the simple fact is because there was trucks running, and we were expecting deliveries, and we also were shipping out deliveries. But it was one of those days that really changed your life really forever because uh, the United States, growing up here, you grew to know that this was the greatest country in the world. And, you know, the country's been through so much, but we've always prevailed. We've always won the wars, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, uh, unless you want to talk about like the Vietnam War, which really nobody won, it was a senseless war where a lot of American lives were lost. And, really what really came out of that, I don't know. But so anyway, rewatching the video footage of the plane crashing into the tower at the Trade Center, it was like at first people thought, okay, somebody screwed up, but there was a lot of other things that went on thereafter, and we finally knew that it was a terrorist attack. And so I remember leaving work that day, and the repercussions just kept on building and building and building. There was so many lives lost of the people that were in both trade center buildings, and even some of the smaller buildings surrounding the trade center later on that evening and even the following day ended up collapsing. And it was just a day in history that one will never forget if you lived it. Um, and to this day, we hear a lot of stories, a lot of it being conspiracy and whatnot, much like the JFK assassination, that, it's possible that the government was involved. And we really don't know the truthful answers to all of this. But the bottom line is, uh, yeah, we want to know who's responsible. And of course, Osama bin Laden um, claimed that he was involved. Um, but the bottom line is, it was all the lives that were lost. And like I said, lives have changed since then. And the bottom line, too, is it made this country even much stronger. And I'm proud to be in this country. I'm proud for everybody that served for this country. I commend them all because we still are the greatest country in the world. Um, we have our flaws, that's for sure. But when someone tries to attack us, we know how to respond. And it's an unfortunate memory in our history. It ranks up there as, one of the biggest in the world's history. And there's so many major events that happen throughout the world, in the past so many years. But this has to be one that is, right up there with it. But yeah, so this is just a day that we all reflect back for those of us that were around on this particular day. And I remember when this happened, it was, being a wrestling channel, wrestling was irrelevant, as well it should be. And I just wanted to put this out there because my buddy here on YouTube, Diehard WWE Addict, put up a photo montage of the Twin Towers. And after watching it, it just hit me to the point where it brought me right back to reality. It brought me right back to that time when it happened. And, sometimes we take a lot of things for granted. But when I watched that video montage, I remembered everything, every detail of that day, and the hours thereafter, and the days thereafter, the heartbreak, the hurt, the lives that were killed. And to be quite honest with you, I don't ever want to have to really go through that again, because that was a very, very, very tough time in the history of our country. So with all that being said, like I said, this is a non-wrestling related video, but they will be here to come. But I just think today is a day that we all should reflect and sort of understand that we are fortunate to live in one of the greatest countries in the world. So with all that being said, peace out, everybody.